So
Yeah.
BeatKing, can I ask you this, right?
What's
Why did
good?
you why did you as an artist who was independent for 10 years, right? Why did you eventually sign to like a major label?
I signed with a major label because, being 10 years independent prior, I felt that I did everything I could do on my own. I felt like I hit a glass ceiling with my career. So I had never went viral on TikTok before. I heard about it, but it's never happened to me before. So when I finally went viral on TikTok, every label in the game started hitting me. I'm talking about it was like a week and a half of negotiations trying to figure out who had the best deal, who had the biggest bag, who had my best interests as far as the future. You know what I'm saying? And I went with who I decided to go with, and that was all based off of them telling me they're gonna take my song to the next level. And major labels, they're good at that. You know what I'm saying? They're good at dropping the bag for radio and promo and everything that you need, and they take it to the next level. When you're independent, you don't really know everybody you need to call. You don't have contacts on every good publicist. You don't have contacts for every radio station and all that. So me being independent, I knew that. I knew I could only take my career up to the point it's got so far. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, if I sign to a major, everything gonna be more lit. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay. Can I ask you this? So apart from, you signing because, am I correct to say that you signed for because you wanted to benefit from that structure a major label has?
It was I just wanted my song to be as big as it could be. Now today I'm way more successful. I have way more money. I wouldn't have signed today. But back then, I wasn't as balling as I am today. I wasn't broke, but I just didn't, I would have wasted money because I didn't know exactly what to do as far as the next step. So that's why I signed. Basically, just I wanted my song to be on steroids, you know what I'm saying? Just to be as big as it could be.
Can I ask you this for other artists who might be listening to this conversation? What would you say are some of the, so there's a lot of benefit with signing to a major label, but like what are some of, let's say, give me one of the biggest, possible pitfalls an artist could fall into after they sign to a major label?
The biggest pitfall you can fall into after signing to a major label is if you weren't attentive during the whole process. Because I was independent for 10 years prior, I have a real big respect for radio. You know what I'm saying? A lot of new artists don't care about radio, and that's cool. After year one, you will care about radio, because radio is what really makes you go platinum. It's what really drives the success of your song. Major labels, they have relationships with every radio station in the country. Depending on what type of song you have, what type of artist you are, whether it's going to be rhythmic radio or pop radio, they have relationships with all those stations. So that's one of the good things about it. You will be on the radio, major rotation everywhere. What's some other good things? You will magically start performing at the BET Awards, the MTV Movie Awards, all that stuff. Those are all, the things that come with it. They want the maximum exposure for their artists so their song can stream in its highest capacity. Now, the pitfalls is if you weren't meeting everyone who does radio. Because my thing is, if you like 19 years old and your song is going dumb, you're just happy with that. You fuck bitches, you get money. You're not really learning about who called those radio stations or the calls that were made, everything that was done, saying to get that song at 3 or 4 thousand spins a week, you know what I'm saying? So that was me. I was making sure I learned everybody in the office, what they did, what their jobs was and all that, because one thing about it, an artist like me, year one, see, I have a very big underground following, but it's not like a following like Beyonce. It's not like a following like Lil Uzi Vert. It's not like a following like Nicki Minaj. So with major labels, when you drop a song, they want it to stream a certain amount quickly. And if it doesn't stream up to their, standards, they're gonna look at you like, all right, man, well, we ain't finna unlock your budget. We ain't finna just drop this radio bag or this TikTok bag and none of that, because labels they're tied into TikTok as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you sign to a major label, all of a sudden those big TikTok stars are gonna start making videos to your songs. So if you're not streaming or a certain amount, or if you didn't recoup, you on your own. You know what I'm saying? And when you're on your own, you know, you're a young artist, you just spent all your money already, all your advance. They not gonna put no more money to you, and it's this dumb stuck thing, you know, where you just in limbo. They not putting no money into you, you're not making no money, you know, and you just kind of stuck there. And that's what a lot of artists, they start going back to crime and doing what they was doing before, you know what I'm saying? Because the money goes away if you're not smart, you know. I was smart, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like I'm back independent. I'm still living good, big ass house, shows every weekend, you know, but that's just the Texas in me. The pitfalls is just not being attentive and just not knowing the mechanics of what made that song go. You know what I'm saying? Because you can sit there and be like, oh man, I can just thank God that it happened like this, and that's cool too, because God played a big part in it. But you also want to learn the infrastructure so you can do it again the next year and continue to repeat it, because no one believes this magic until you can do it over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to kind of figure out why the song went like that, why it was successful, so you can do it again.
Mm. So, first of all, it sounds like obviously you had a plan for your career, which
Yeah.
that's really important. And one thing I always say is if you don't have a plan for your career, the label has a plan for you, right? So can you talk about the importance of having a plan as an artist before you sign to a label?
You know, a lot of artists come to me for advice these days, man. And the main thing I tell them is you have to have a team within their team. You know, don't just think when you sign to a major that everything is going to be okay and they're just going to do everything for you. Most people in the offices are people who are failed managers. You know, these are not people who know how to start a career. They do not know how to market you. Major labels do not know how to market you. All their ideas are trash. You'll be sitting.
Can you speak a little bit on that? What do you mean they don't know how to market you? What does that mean?
They don't know how to market you because they only know how to drop the bag. They only know how to take your song the rest of the way. There is no artist development. There's no one sitting there like, oh man, I like the way you sing a little bit. Let's get you some singing lessons. Let's find you a producer. Let's do all. No one's doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's something you have to do on your own. That's something your team has to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you can sign to a major and then when it's time for your album to come out, they're gonna have their publicists probably put you on all the double XLs and you know all the complex and all that. But it's gonna be up to you, your following, and your grind to get to somebody like academics, or to get to somebody like Blacky Speakz. A lot of people that are in the real young hip hop media, directly to consumer ass media, like BlackySpeakz, you can't pay BlackySpeakz to post somebody's music. You're not gonna do it because that's not what you are. That's not what you stand for. You report what you want to report. You know what I'm saying? So if someone's not making enough noise on their own and not marketing themselves, a label can't do it for you. They don't really know what to do for you. Only you know what to do. Going to a major label, like I remember, I'm not gonna put the label out there, but when I was signed to a major, every idea they brought to me was trash. And I tell them that to their face, because we all still friends, we all partners, but everything was trash. You know, I said, I remember one meeting we had, it was for After Then Leave, my second single was called Keep It Poppin' with Ludacris. I redid one of Ludacris' songs. And shout out to Ludacris, because he don't let nobody touch his classics. But he let me redo one of his songs, and he hopped on the song with me. And for the video, because my name is BeatKing, BK, they wanted me to be in the video in a Burger King outfit, a Burger King hat, Burger King, Ludacris and Burger King. I'm like, bro, Drake and Future just did that. But what I also realized with major labels is you have to work with them so they can work with you. Because if you turn down all their ideas, now they feel away. Now they don't like you. You think my idea is trash? Well, you and your career. How about we not pick up when it's time? So you kind of have to listen to them a little bit.
I like to say that a record label is not your friend. They are your employer. Can you talk about why it's so important for artists to be aware of that dynamic? Because a lot of artists think that they should be best friends. No, that's not how it is. So I'm sure you know all about that. So talk about the importance of just being aware of that dynamic as an artist who might be going into a record label situation.
See, they're not your friends. They all have bills. They are cool though. They're gonna be cool with you long as you are streaming. If you are making someone money, they're going to love you. When you're not making them money, as much as they love you, they may love you, but it's like, I got bills. I gotta go to the artist that's streaming. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cool, I fuck with you, but you're not streaming like the other guys on the label. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta put our focus into them. Now, if you can get yourself hot, we'll come back to you. But that's very hard to do because you can't release music unless they release it. So if you can't release music and you still have to get yourself hot, that's where artists get frustrated. That's when they run to Twitter, man, this some bullshit. I can't release. They keep pushing my song back. I want to get out my contract. They won't fuck with me because I'm not streaming, but I can't drop so that I can stream. Like it's a dumb trap. So then you're forced to have to do features and to maybe get on another artist song that's hot to maybe piggyback off of their wave to get hot off them. Or one thing I learned is when you assign to a major, you can't drop your own music. You can't drop. So what you have to do is drop things on YouTube. You're gonna have to drop whatever song you want to push, you gotta drop it on YouTube and TikTok. If it gets popular from there, the label will be like, oh, well, this is moving. Let's drop it for real. Let's put it on the platform. Let's put it on the DSP, Spotify, and Apple Music and shit, because you're getting it hot yourself from YouTube and TikTok. They look at numbers and shit, you know what I'm saying? So I was one of them artists. I never was just gonna go in a corner and cry because the label didn't want to drop my music, you know what I'm saying? I still grinded my music. I still gave 2 Chainz the biggest song he had in 2022, pop music with me, him, and Moneybagg Yo. I was figuring out how to work TikTok. I was dancing around my house doing a bunch of goofy shit, but it built my TikTok up. You know what I'm saying? So you just can't, a lot of artists, they just get frustrated and just crawl in a corner. And if you sign to somebody and you and that label are not on the right page, it can be very detrimental to you because y'all not keeping communication. They think you don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit. They probably gonna drop you soon, but not until you recoup. You know, so you're just stuck in limbo.
BeatKing, can you talk a little bit about, so a lot of artists, they have this notion in their mind that the bigger the advance, the better. Now, a big advance means a bigger loan. So can you talk a little bit about why it's so important to know that the money you're getting is not your money, it's actually a loan that you're technically gonna have to pay back in terms of them recouping the money through the streams?
Man, a lot of artists don't realize that because in their mind, I'm lit, my song is lit, give me $1 million. I don't care if I have to pay it back. You'll get it back. That's what they think. But in all honesty, you know how much you have to stream to get back $1 million? And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying? They can tack on little prices that you have, you know, nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll put this amount in the radio. You know what I'm saying? They'll put this amount in into the publicist side, into making sure that your song is playing in 24-hour fitness or foot action when you walk in, all type of little stuff that you didn't know about. These are all things you have to pay back. You know what I'm saying? And don't have a song that has a sample that had to be cleared. You got to pay it. Your publishing is all jacked up because of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you got a song where you had to clear a sample and then you got some other artists who want a lot of the publishing, like you're never gonna recoup. You would have to keep giving them song after song after song. And labels, they're gonna keep giving you advances, especially if you lit. Even if you ain't recoup. They're like, man, you ain't paid us all our money back, but you're still doing good on the tour and you still lit. People still like you. You're still in commercials, you know what I'm saying? So we give you another big advance. They want to keep you in the hole. They want to own you for life, man. They don't want to let you really like recoup. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. As soon as you've been to recoup, they'll try to give you another advance. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep you right there, especially if you're successful, you know. So that's just a game. A lot of new artists, they don't realize that when you take that money from them, man, it ain't your money. That is an advance for the recording of your album. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are giving you that money because in the 90s, you needed almost about that much money to record, to get your beats. Studio time was very expensive. Before we could sit on a laptop and make multi-platinum songs, you needed an expensive studio to sound good. You needed that. But today, you don't. The artists take that advance money, buy jewelry, a car, and all that. And me and Juicy J, I talked to him a lot when I first signed to Columbia because he was signed to Columbia. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me the game. He was like, man, bro, when they give you that advance, take half of it, splurge. Take the other half, save that shit. Put it back into yourself.
Give us a couple ways of investing it back into your career. What does that mean exactly?
To me, investing money back into your career is, I look at everything through a media standpoint. You got people who are too young to go to the club. So if your music only plays in a club, people who don't go to the club are not going to hear it. It's people, again, who can't get in the club, they only can hear it on the radio. Older people who don't go to clubs, maybe they only listen to the radio. If your song's not being played on the radio, then they don't hear it. It's people who don't go to the club or listen to the radio, they only are on TikTok. So if your song is not on TikTok, then they don't hear it. So you have to invest into making sure that your song are where the ears are. So if you need TikTok to go viral, you need to have enough money to pay hella influencers on TikTok. Or just TikTok yourself for free. But that's not really enough. You can TikTok yourself all you want, but you're only one person with one audience. For it to go viral, you have to have a lot of people listening on TikTok. And the influencer game on TikTok, that's how a lot of TikTok influencers eat, off artists. You ever see a song come out and the second day it's out, it's already all over TikTok? You're like, man, how the hell? Am I late? No, you're not late. That label just paid all the big dogs on TikTok. Like
exactly.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
and also too about that, a lot of artists too, and I'll kind of, feeds into the next question I want to ask you, which is, you can actually build those kinds of relationships, because what a label does, what people don't realize, is that they just outsource the work. And so if you're smart like you were independent for 10 years and you managed to get money and stay independent because you built great relationships with people before you even signed. So the question I have for you is, an artist who, let's say, doesn't want to sign, how can they actually build relationships without that major label infrastructure and win through that?
The biggest thing I can tell an artist is, don't think it's going to happen overnight. Just like it took BlackySpeakz since probably 2018 to build your platform to where you are today.
2017, yeah, 2017.
2017, I'm a year off. 2017 to get to where you are with 1 million subs right now. That didn't happen overnight. Like, my phone is a bad MF. I can get pretty much anybody on the phone, but in 2010, I couldn't. It takes years to build these contacts and everything. So if you want to go the independent route, you have to have patience. You have to learn how to save money, how to put money in the places where it belongs. You have to realize that, you know, it may be times when you go broke, you know what I'm saying, because you put the money in the wrong place. And you're going to be hurt from that, but you have to learn and you'll bounce back the next year. You know what I'm saying? I see why a lot of artists sign. Hell, I see why I signed. You know what I'm saying? I was independent for 10 years. I was like, man, I want to see what the other side is like. And once I saw it, I appreciated it, but I was like, dang, this all y'all did? Yeah, okay, all right, then. But I had to sign to see it. There was no way I was gonna know it without signing.
And what was the thing that you made you say that? Because, you know, obviously there are a lot of reasons why you signed, but, you know, you kind of come into that conclusion of, oh wow, this is what it is. Like, Is that like the quote unquote dark side of signing? Like, what is it exactly that made you have that realization, BeatKing?
The dark side of signing is you are no longer in control.
Speak on
That's
that.
the dark side. That's the dark side. The good side is, one thing about it, all the major labels do is drop the radio bag. And that's something you can't really do independent. And you can, but it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? You can, but it's expensive. And that's all I'm gonna say about that without saying too much.
Can you hit
All
on
I'm
that
saying
no
is
no control part? I really want to hear that.
it's no control because they own your music, your likeness, and your licensing. So it's like, let's just say I was signed to Columbia. I wanted to drop a song at a certain time, but I couldn't because Beyonce was finna drop. And Queen Beyonce was finna drop. You know what I'm saying? So they don't care about the BeatKing song. We finna get in formation. It's Renaissance time. You know what I'm saying? As they should, that's Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? But you're not in control. I remember toward the end of me being signed there, I had a single that I wanted to drop. And it was like, oh man, BeatKing, this is cool. But we really like it if you had Glorilla on it. And I'm just like,
You said, can you say
okay.
that it was an audible? You said Glorilla, you said?
It was like, we really love this song if you could get Glorilla on it. We see you taking
So
pictures with her and stuff.
so
Can
what
you
are they
get
trying to what
Glorilla?
were they can you explain what they were trying to do right there? Like what's the point of them bringing up
It's
another artist?
They do that because after a certain amount of time, if you're not streaming to their liking as much as they would want you to, they don't believe in you as much. They see the success of other artists and they want to have their version of that. They want their song with them. So it's like, we can't sign Sexy Red, but if you could get Sexy Red on a song, that'll be a Sexy Red song that we have control. You
So
know,
I really like what you said about they don't believe in you. Now the reason why I like that is because it sounds like, or not sounds like, but what a lot of artists forget is that labels have quotas to fill. And so sometimes they might sign someone and the person they're signing, they're not signing them because they believe in them. They're signing them because they're just trying to fill that quota. So speak on a little bit on that, brother.
man, my song Didn't Leave was streaming so crazy. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, like, I make sure I don't talk down on Columbia Records. It's a lot of good people there, and they made me rich. You know what I'm saying? They helped take me to the next level. I just didn't like the last 2 years. The first year was amazing, though. My song is going dumb. You know what I'm saying? It went gold quickly, all that, you know what I'm saying? When my second single came out, they wanted to go just as dumb as Then Leave. But Then Leave went viral on TikTok. I didn't know anything about TikTok. When Then Leave first came out, I had 50 followers on TikTok. I didn't know anything about getting the song viral, influencer. All I know is what my daughters told me. You know what I'm saying? So when my
So
next
then
single came out,
so then Leave, by the way, that's a song by BeatKing. That's you said how many times platinum?
it'll probably be platinum probably in a couple months,
And
probably.
it's sitting at over 60 million streams on Spotify. So
Yeah,
a lot of people
yeah.
might not know what you're talking about when you say that. So,
Probably
but
got probably got
keep
like three
going.
more months left to be platinum. You know what I'm
Keep
saying?
keep going. Can you talk about what happened like on that? I want to hone in on that. Like what happened on that? You said so the first year everything was good, but like
Everything
what
was good.
changed between the dynamic that second year? Exactly. What happened?
The second, like I say, the first year was lit. Even Drake DM'd me. He gave me the cosign for it. I posted a DM to everybody that Drake liked the song. Everybody was like, "Oh shit!" It started going dumb. You know, the labels are going retarded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like second year after all that hype for that song dies down. And it doesn't really die down yet. You're still living off of it a little bit. You know, everybody's still lit a little bit. Like, all right, man, what's the next one? And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna redo this Ludacris song. I got Ludacris on it. It's gonna be crazy. And the song is dope. It's on there right now. You know, it's on Spotify right now. It's called Keep It Poppin'. But when it came out, it didn't go viral on TikTok. And I didn't know that you have to make a song go viral on TikTok. I thought it's just God picks a song, because that happens. God just be like, all right, man, this song is gonna go viral. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know you had to really work a song on TikTok. You had to go to influencers and really get on TikTok yourself and do the dance and promote it yourself. I didn't know that yet. You know, so when that song came out and it wasn't successful as fast as they wanted it to be, that's when they start pulling back. It was like, all right, well, we're gonna sign somebody else, and you know what I'm saying, see what's up with them. Or they start focusing more on their pop acts, you know, on their other rappers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
So can I explain what I think happened? Tell me if I'm correct, right? What it sounds like is, so the BeatKing model worked. That's why they signed you. And then the second it stopped working, they started prioritizing other acts,
Well,
right?
see the thing is the BeatKing model didn't work. I went viral and I didn't know how to do it again because it was the pandemic. I didn't know how to work TikTok like that. You know, see, I never take it as like, I understand how this works, and I'm never mad at Columbia, because Columbia just like, we just want to make sure that the song is a hit before we drop the bag on it. And a lot of artists don't realize that. They're like, man, they don't fuck with me, they don't believe in me, man. This trash. But they signed you because they saw something, and they just want you to do that again. And if you can't do that again, regardless of who fault it is, they're like, we're just gonna go to somebody who's doing it right now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So that's
So
all it is. That's
essentially,
why,
so can I ask? Oh, we're gonna continue. My bad.
I
Keep
was
going.
gonna say that's the notion of them not being your friend. It's
Oh,
all business. Everybody have bills. You know, everybody trying to figure out how to pay their bills. The A&R's job is to find talent. They all have internet. They all have social media teams, and they scour TikTok, Instagram, trying to find that next song. You know what I'm saying? The next song, and they try to make sure they give you the lowest advance possible, because they don't believe. If they believe in you for real, they're gonna give you that bag for real. But if they don't believe in you for real, they try to give you the lowest thing possible. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when I started the Scar Lip, you know what I'm saying, interviews where she was saying, I want to get $1 million, I want to get $1 million. Labels were probably like, man, we got to see your second single before we talk that. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know if you're worth an M yet. We'll give you 150,000, but we don't really know, you know. So
BeatKing, as someone who's had a viral TikTok record, can you talk about the
I've
dark
had a
side?
plethora now. I've had a lot of them now, you know. So.
Okay, just you at least you've done it once, right? So you've had that
Mm-hmm.
experience of having a song blow up on TikTok. TikTok literally feeds the music industry now, right? Which is why major labels are in bed with all these big TikTok influencers. They give them a lot of money for anyone who doesn't know, right? So can I
Yeah.
ask you, what exactly is the dark side of having a really viral TikTok record as a rapper?
The dark side of having a viral TikTok song is most of these new artists have not worked hard and long enough to build a real fan base yet. So when a song blows up, the people are a fan of that song. They're not a fan of you. 9 times out of 10, they only know the viral part of the song. They don't even know the whole song. They just know the part that's on TikTok. So when that song fades away after about 6, 7 months, you fade away too. You know what I'm saying? That's the downside of it, you know. So it's one of those things where I find myself doing it too. I'm sitting here making music, and I have to make sure it's at least some part in there that TikTok gravitates toward. And I'm very guilty of that. I hate that it's like that, but it is what it is. I will conform. I will not be left behind. You know, so I make sure that it's something the kids can like in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that TikTok can take it to the level where it needs to be. Because without TikTok today, your song is not a hit. TikTok is more important than radio. It is what it is. And I hate saying that, because radio is very important. I'm not trying to disrespect radio. People talk down on radio. They mean, you don't need radio. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You need radio for your song to go the distance. But TikTok is more important than radio, because TikTok is what's before radio. There's a lot of songs that blow up on TikTok, but they just stay on TikTok. They're just TikTok songs. And that's because they didn't sign to a major label, or they didn't know what the next step was. After TikTok, it's radio. The major labels know that. So that's why when a song started blowing up on TikTok, they're all calling your phone at the same time. I had every major label in the industry calling me in the same week and a half. They're offering me $1 million. They're offering me $2 million. They're offering me $1.5 million. Everybody trying to figure out how to get this song for me because they're looking at me like I was independent 10 years prior. I have been on the Billboard charts before. This is not an accident with him. This is somebody who can make beats and write hits for everybody in the building. Everybody was trying to give me that bag. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I had worked so long up to that point. But a new artist, he don't have that strong fan base yet. He doesn't. You know, so they sign him to this quick little 360. You know what I'm saying? Quick lick off of them. You know what I'm saying?
Could you explain exactly what a 360 deal is for anyone who doesn't understand BeatKing?
A 360 deal is when the label gets a majority of everything that has to do with you.
Everything. Can you emphasize that?
If you tour, they want a piece of that. If you get in a commercial, they want a piece of that. Anything they bring to you through their network, they want a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? Just it is what it is.
And
you know,
in the contracts as well too. Can you speak on how sometimes certain contract, even if they don't bring it to you, contractually, a lot of times you're going to be obliged to give up a piece of what you brought to yourself as well. Is that correct?
Labels want a piece of all your commercial money. Now, 9 times out of 10, we all getting these brown paper, we used to call back in the day, brown paper bag money. That's when you're doing your shows at clubs and appearances and all that. The labels don't touch that, but that's how artists look so rich. Because when a rapper gets a hit song, he start getting booked in clubs, he start getting walkthroughs, he start doing features, all type of stuff. So he's getting these $10s, $20, $1,000 licks here and there. He's buying all his jewelry, he's buying cars and all that. He's looking rich as possible, but he's really broke because he has no money in the bank. All the money he has, he's wearing it, he's driving it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where in those deal situations, you just have to be smart. Just don't spend all your money and reinvest into yourself. If you know you have a new single coming out, save money for TikTok influencers so you can get your second song in position. So when the label you're signed to is starting to see your song moving, like, ooh, all right, let's take it the rest of the way then. But don't think that they're just gonna start it for you, because they're not. You know, they're not. They don't wanna start nothing. They wanna take it the rest of the way. So that's my advice to, artists, man.
Right. Great answer, man. BeatKing, can I ask you this, right? Is it possible for a rapper who wants to sign to a major label, right? Is it possible for that rapper to not give up their masters?
It's impossible.
Tell me why it's impossible.
It depends on where you are on the ladder. If you are super lit, like super lit, you can negotiate that. But somebody with a viral song on TikTok, they cannot negotiate. You have to already be touring, already be streaming crazy, because when you're already touring and streaming, you don't need a deal. All these labels coming to you, you like, you trying to give me what for in advance? I made that last year.
Or sometimes last month if you're really popular, right?
Like I made that, like, I don't, like, you trying to give me what?
BeatKing, can I ask you this? So as someone who, for anyone who's not aware, BeatKing he's not a young guy. He's a 39-year-old artist.
Just
for anyone who doesn't know.
Last year.
Yeah. Happy birthday, man. And I wanted to ask you this, right? You're an older guy, okay? You're an older cat, which means you know a lot of things. Like, as an example, one thing, since you were independent for such a long time, you learned how to manage your money. So can you speak about the importance of managing your money as an artist, period, but especially as an independent artist?
That's a hard conversation, because who am I to not tell somebody who has been broke their whole life to not blow that first batch of money you get. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, I thank God for letting me be successful at the age I am now and not my early 20s, because I probably had way more kids. I probably had 13 cars and lost it all. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, my advice to new artists is, man, just be mindful that money comes and goes, you know what I'm saying? And just because you got it right now, keep that same work ethic, stay attentive, just make sure that you are making good decisions, because the thing about it is the first big batch of money you get, you are gonna blow it. It is what it is. You can't tell somebody who has never had a certain amount of money that when they first get $300,000, they're not gonna blow it. They're gonna blow it. You know what I'm saying? But the next time you get $300,000, you're gonna blow it again. But you're only gonna blow half of it this time. You know what I'm saying? Because now you like, man, look, all right, I need to just make sure I keep some shit. This, my bad, I'm cussing again. Keep some this time. I ain't gonna blow the whole thing. By the second time you get $300,000 or $500,000, you're gonna be like, man, I ain't spending none of this. I want to see how I look to see $1 million in my account. And then you're gonna get to $1 million, you're gonna be like, man, I want to see $5 million in my account. You know what I'm saying? So it's the first time you blow money, you're gonna blow it. But the second time you get it, just be smart that second time. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they never wisen up. They just keep blowing it. They think it's gonna keep coming back. It's gonna keep coming back. And eventually the people will grow a tolerance of you. You know what I'm saying? You will not be as hot. Everybody not gonna be Drake. You're not gonna have no 15-year run at that height. Everyone falls down. And you're gonna have to still pay your bills, still take care of your family, still, you know what I'm saying? If you wanna drop music, still drop it on a professional level and have that same look you had. Because one thing about it, your fans will look at you like, you don't look like you looked 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They'll look at you like you're falling off. People that, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful enough to know that, man, you know, like the pandemic took a lot of people out the game. People like me, I turned up during the pandemic, but everybody didn't have a fate like that. A lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses, you know, people who were in debt, people who didn't save money right, they didn't know that the world was gonna stop. You know, so a lot of businesses, the big clubs in Houston went out of business. A lot of restaurants went out of business. They weren't prepared. Just always be prepared. You know what I'm saying? That's just something as an adult.
Yeah.
You know,
And I was gonna
just be
ask you
prepared for life.
I was gonna ask you specifically though, like how do you build that skill? Because you talked a lot about being aware of what could happen, but how do you actually build that skill of, learning how to manage your money as an artist?
Hey, my girl, she get tired of it. All I do is watch horror stories on YouTube. I watch videos of people who messed it up, who blew it, businesses that crumbled. All you got a couple videos on your page where artists made the wrong decision, and you're talking about it. You never disrespecting them, though. That's why I rock with you. You know, people, you never disrespect them, but you speak on the thing because a lot of people need to know about the wrong decisions you can make. You know what I'm saying? And no one is exempt from this. Sometimes you can make a bad decision and you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn. So for the most part, man, I learned from watching horror stories on YouTube, man. You can just type in how Enron crumbled, Ponzi schemes, giving your money to the wrong people, you know what I'm saying, having the wrong accountant, having the wrong manager, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like you could be paying your taxes, take rappers out the game. You know what I'm saying? You can have hella paper, but you didn't pay your taxes for 3 years. When they do that audit for the last 3 years and see you owe like a M and you only had a M in your account, you're not rich no more. They're gonna take all that. Now you broke. And you're trying to sell all the cars that you had on Instagram that people are not gonna see anymore. rappers are very childish and petty, so that other people are gonna point that out. Hey man, I don't see that car no more. I don't see that jewelry no more. You know, you trying to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like it's just certain things, man. Pay your taxes. I make sure I pay my taxes. You know what I'm saying? It's because taxes take rappers out the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Having babies with their own chick take you out the game, man. Child support, you have a bunch of kids you gotta pay on every month. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff can take you out the
I
game.
see, I see. Can I ask you this? Were you, how would you, were you happier when you were signed or when you're independent?
I'm the most happy right now than I've
Okay,
ever
so
been in
right
my whole
now, for anyone
career
who doesn't
because
know, you're independent. So
I'm
why are you
independent.
happier now?
Because I'm independent now after everything I learned, and I'm more successful now. You know, so before I signed to a major, I didn't have as many resources as I have now. I didn't know where to put my money. I didn't know exactly what to do. And these are not things that the label taught me. These are things that I picked up on my own. I saw what the label did as far as radio, and I found a way that I can do it as well. I'm like, all right, so y'all use y'all people for radio. Let me go to the outsourced people and do it. I see who y'all use as a publicist. Well, let me just pay a publicist or not pay a publicist, hit these publications myself, because that make them respect you more. You're doing your own PR. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was signed to Columbia. It's nobody at Columbia that can get you on Shade Room. Shade Room only care about lifestyle and if you got some ratchet stuff going on. So nobody at Columbia can get me on Shade Room. Only I can get me on Shade. You know, so it's certain things you gotta do yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, you know, like, yeah, you just have
And
to have
how's
a
how
team.
and, and how's that correlated to in terms of like your happiness level? Because a lot of artists think that they're gonna feel better about their situation once they actually sign.
You will be happy. You're gonna be happy. It depends on what your deal is, how it's structured. That first year, you will be happy. You know what I'm saying? Because, and maybe you won't have a path like mine. Maybe, you know, you have a path like Ice Spice. Came out with the Munch, then she came out with the All in Her Mood. That did good. Now she got the Deli. That's doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they want you to win, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe your music not that good, but you got orange hair like Ice Spice, and all the girls want to be you. You know, it's your likeness is important too. What you look like. Our kids, they want to be you. Are people willing to invest money into different things? Are you in commercials? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that go into, because you can have a good song, but maybe you're not a star. If you're a star, you don't even have to be jamming. You know what I'm saying? That label will keep on investing you because you're a star.
That's a great answer, man. Like you definitely got to know, you got to be self-aware enough to know where you belong, and you got to be self-aware enough to know where you don't belong. And it seems like you're someone who you've kind of
If, if,
seen.
if I'm
Tell
an
me.
artist trying to beef with another artist, I'm not going to hit up BlackySpeakz to get on that platform to talk down on other artists. I'm going to probably go to the Breakfast Club or Academics or something. You have a platform for knowledge and information and to speak your standpoint on things. Everything has a place, you know. So artists, make sure you sign to the right place. Just don't go where the money is. Go where it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I see, I see. I really like the answer. You have a lot of knowledge, man. And I want to kind of ask this question, right? If you had to give one piece of advice to artists out there, right, who want to sign,
Mm-hmm.
who want to one day want to sign to, let's say, a major label, or we can just say a record label, what would you say? What's the one thing that you would say? Just think about this.
Um, my advice to artists that want to sign to a major label is make sure you are as valuable as possible, because if they're coming to you they're gonna be trying to tell you how much you're worth. And that's something you should already know on your own. You should already be getting shows. You should already have a fan base. You should already have a certain amount of followers on Instagram and TikTok. The more followers you have, the louder your voice is. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have some fan base to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. Is after that song, they're not gonna care. You get one more chance after your first song that went viral. You get one more chance. And if that song is not, it's just as big or bigger than your first one, it ain't personal. It's just they looking for the next one. They finna go right back to TikTok and find the next you for the next year. Yes, it is what it is. And don't take it personal. Don't take it personal, you know, because you might recoup one day and then you'll get released. Just like me. I always recoup. Never was in the red. And when they released me, they released a beast. Because now I'm top 40 on Urban, independently, with my new song Outside, getting booked every weekend, and it's all my money. All the stream money is mine. You know what I'm saying? Sony doesn't own anything. And all my masters and everything revert back to me in 5 years. I had a good lawyer and I have a good manager. Structured my deal so you don't own my stuff forever. My stuff come back to me in 8 years. I got 5 more left. You know what I'm saying?
So know what you're getting yourself into, essentially. That's what you're saying, right?
Know what you get into and make sure your fan base is as powerful as it can be. Make sure you are as valuable as you possibly can be. And make sure that you have fans. You don't want people to be a fan of a song and not you. Songs, they come and go. And when that song go away, you go away too. There's a lot of people that came out during the pandemic. I don't see them no more.
Very, very insightful conversation, BeatKing, and I want to thank you for pulling up on me for this conversation.
Hey man, I
You're
told
a
you, man, I've been a fan for years, man. Straight up.
I appreciate you, man, and you know I'm a new fan of you as well. You're for anyone who doesn't know, BeatKing is a legend in the South. He's been around for over 15 years. Well, man, I appreciate you for the conversation, man. This was a very insightful conversation. I think there's gonna be a lot of
Sure.
artists out there who you know find this insightful and very valuable. So I appreciate you, my brother. Thank
Hey,
you for
no
the
problem, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Hey, number love on my end, man. Y'all boys be easy out there.
most definitely, man. Yes, sir. We're out. Peace.
Already.